Good morning, YouTubers. T-Square here with T-Square Talks. Hope everybody's having a great day. Got a great video planned out for you guys today. Today, I want to talk about silver to the moon and what that exactly means. I think it's important that people understand what this means, or at least thinks about it a little bit. There's a lot of comments out there, a lot of videos out there that talk about silver to the moon, and some of the claims that we hear are unrealistic. And some of the claims that we hear are maybe a little more conservative. But, when you use a certain term like silver to the moon, it can mean a lot of things. And that's why I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about that today. I think it's important. I heard a comment, or I'd seen a comment today in the comments that said, all these people that are putting outlandish claims out there, every week it's something big, some reason silver is going to go to the moon. And I kind of want to talk a little bit about this today. If you enjoyed today's video, please help me out by hitting that thumbs up button for me. It really helps the channel out. Leave a comment. Let me know your thought on what you think silver is going to do. I love to read people's comments, and the more comments I get, it usually generates good ideas for videos. And if you're not subscribed, please do the ultimate, hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel out. So right off the bat, before we get started, let's just take a real quick look at what silver is doing right now. Silver, as of today, it's going down. It's down a little over 0.5%, or about 20 cents. However, these little short-term dips, I'm not at all worried about. What is the high, the recent high on silver? $35. And here we are down almost $3. It's not as down as it has been. We've seen it go a little lower. However, we are in the summer, and a lot of stuff changes in the summer. A lot of big events have happened recently, and I'll be honest, I don't think people want you investing in silver. They want you invested in the dollar. They want you invested in Bitcoin, the stuff they control. And I don't think forever. I don't think that the manipulation on silver is going to last forever. But we're going to come back to that in just a minute. Taking a quick look at gold, we've got gold trading at $3,211. Pretty much a nice 100-to-1 ratio again is where we're sitting now. Maybe a little bit under that. I'm hoping we go back over 100-to-1. I would like to trade a couple ounces of gold to end up picking up some more silver if I have that opportunity. Bitcoin looking pretty good. I ain't gonna lie. Bitcoin looking nice at 105,608. Pretty close to its all-time high. We're a little bit off on that. However, a lot of people are starting to wonder, what's going on. You can see the articles are starting to come up. Be careful. And some places thinking that we're going to see the price just go up astronomically higher if Congress passes a couple of key things. So we'll see how that plays out. Taking a quick look at the DXY. The DXY down a little bit. We've got the DXY at 100.34. For those people that don't know what the DXY is, that's basically the dollar benchmarked or measured against other currencies out there. And not a lot of currencies, just like 6 or 7 other currencies that we've chosen who we're going to run against. So it's still looking pretty good at 100. Moving on real quick, what did the Dow Jones do yesterday? We had the Dow Jones trading at closing at 42,792, up about 0.33%. 137 points. We've got the NASDAQ trading at 19,215, or up about 0.25%, up 4 points. S&P closing out at 5,963, up not even 0.1%. We're looking at 5 points higher, roughly. Very minor, not anything major. Real quick, taking a look at the national debt, you can see it's continuing to climb as we're now at 36,871,787,000,000 and growing. And the next FOMC meeting, the next Fed meeting, for those of you who don't know, it will be next month on the 17th and the 18th. And we'll see what happens with silver and gold as that meeting gets a little closer. Next month's going to be a really interesting month, I think. because we are winding down the second financial quarter. As that happens, usually we see some crazy stuff. A lot of short positions tend to get covered really close to the end of the financial quarter, and like I said, that's next month. So we could see anything happen. A lot of people are preparing to start slow down on their purchases and wait until close to the end of next month for the big dip. However, who knows if we could start seeing it get beat down a little bit here and there. I would not be surprised to see, unfortunately, it break down under the $30 level some point before the end of next month. So I don't have a favorable outlook in the next month, month and a half, if you want to call it, about a month and a half, month and 10 days. I don't have a very favorable outlook towards that. We're also in summer. A lot of people going on vacation. A lot of people just slowing down everything right now. However, I do have a extremely favorable outlook on silver and gold for the long term. Now, I might have even been one of them people that say silver to the moon. What does silver to the moon mean? So silver to the moon with everybody is going to mean something different. We all have different thoughts on what the moon is. Some people want to see silver go to $10,000 silver. Now, I'm not going to say that's extremely unrealistic, because I will tell you from the get-go, and I've always said this, anything is possible if you're paying in worthless currency. Now, I will say, if someone is going to give you $10,000 US dollars for an ounce of silver, you can assume that those dollars are pretty much worthless. There are videos, there are pictures of literally people making hats in Venezuela with 10,000 bolivar, and then turning around and selling the hats. They take these bolivar, or what we would call dollars here in the U.S., and they sit there and they fold them up, $10, $100, whatever. They fold them up and they make cool things like hats and different little things. And a hat could use, $10,000 in currency. Now, I don't know if I should really use the word dollars, but some people out there don't know what bolivar are. Here in the U.S., we have dollars. There, they have the bolivars. And so for someone to use 10,000 bolivars to make a hat and then turn around and sell it for $1 US is not unrealistic. Now, here's where I'm going with this. If you have an ounce of silver and you're willing to take bolivars for it, and we'll even go so far as to say the old bolivars, the original bolivars, when there were some people that were stacking precious metals because they seen what was happening. They seen where the currency was getting devalued over and over again. And they saw essentially the future. They understood the direction we were going, and they didn't see any change. They knew that it was going to keep heading in this direction. So some people took the currency when it first happened, and they were buying silver. And some people were paying a lot of money for the silver. But they looked at it like, well, the currency is losing value so fast, I'd rather have something that will hold value. And, I think here in the U.S., if the currency was to ever lose value totally, as it's happening, people are going to want to buy anything they can get their hands on. I have instructed a few people. My personal plans are, if anything ever came out on the news and the dollar just instantly tanked to become worthless, the first thing I'm doing is running to a couple of the convenience stores, and I'm going to try to buy whatever I can buy. And I'm going to say that because the average person is not going to be as up to date on what's going on. If you're following it hardcore, yeah, you know what's going on. Some stores they'll realize what's going on, and they'll just close up for the time being. They'll just take a minute, close the doors, because here's the thing. If they sell their inventory as the currency is literally crashing, they're going to sell their inventory, and they're going to have a certain amount of currency. They ain't going to buy very much once they go to restock their inventory. Once you realize that the inventory has more value than the currency, than the paper. In a society where the currency became worthless, would you rather have a carton of cigarettes or $20,000 in worthless currency? There are going to be a lot of people that will understand if the currency is truly worthless, it makes it no different than sheets of paper. And so they're going to want the carton of cigarettes. And it can be anything. Now, here's the thing. The big question, could the dollar ever become worthless? So all fiat currencies eventually return to its true intrinsic value. And in this case, it's a sheet of paper. It's just a sheet of paper. And will it go worthless overnight? Realistically, no, it won't go worthless overnight. But it is inevitable that it's going to continue to decline in value. If you're being realistic, that's why the prices of everything is going up. It's because the currency value is coming down. Once you realize that, so many people are in the dark, and they maybe they're stacking silver because they like the coins. Maybe they're stacking silver because they're hoping to make a few extra dollars. But very few people really realize what's happening to the dollars. They're becoming worthless. They're worth less and less every day. And soon a day will come where you won't be able to do anything with them. They will become worthless at some point. Now, this idea of to the moon, if the currency literally became worthless, well, then, yeah, silver would be going to the moon no matter what level you want to deem the moon. You could say $1 million. There was a time when you could get an ounce of silver in Venezuela for $11 million. But it was 11 million of their currency that became worthless. And so once you understand that it literally been revalued and then revalued and then revalued. I mean, I think it got revalued like 7 or 8 times. It was a huge amount. Each time, people are just having zeros shaved off of their currency. And once you understand that can happen, you understand that silver can go to the moon. But what is the moon? We still don't exactly have an actual number. And that's because there's not an actual number. I think to the moon, for me, I would be happy if silver tripled. If I woke up, tomorrow and all of a sudden silver's at $40, and then a week later it's at $50, and then a couple weeks later or a month later it's at $60. I mean, that means it basically doubled in value. That's pretty awesome. That's a moon to me. I mean, where else are you going to get such a huge percentage return? Now, the moon for me, I believe the moon for me would be a top percentage profiting asset. So whatever asset I pick, if it's the top asset or the top investment based on percentage gains, that's clearly a moonshot. Now, what does that mean? I mean, even if silver only goes up to $40 and everything else gets destroyed, well, then I'm still going to call that a moonshot. That's awesome. Just in the fact that it's holding value when everything else is plunging is an amazing feat. Now, what do I foresee silver at? I still think by the end of the year, we'll be close to $40 silver. This is not financial advice, just my opinion. But let's take a look. I mean, if silver goes up to $40, that's an $8 profit on a $32 investment. That's basically another 25% gain from where we're sitting right now. So if it happens by the end of the year, that's basically saying 25% in 6 months, or 4% a month on average for the next 6 months. You're not going to get that from any savings account, any savings bonds. Very few stocks are going to do that. Right now, gold is still the number one asset for the year. I mean, even Bitcoin, which has done very well, is not number one. And I'm sure they would love to see Bitcoin be at the number one spot. However, I think in order for Bitcoin to be number one, Bitcoin's going to have to go up some more, or they're going to have to beat down gold some more. And we're seeing some good resistance on the gold price right now that's slowing it down, because the lower it goes, the more people want to buy. And yes, they can beat it down a little bit, and then it comes up, and then, yeah, it may come down some more, but how much can they beat it down? Look at the amount of volume. Look at these bars underneath on the lower part of the chart here. You see these huge amounts of bars. This is a huge amount of volume right here taking place. And yes, I'll be the first one to say, you look at gold over the last month, it does not look good. Especially if you could shave in a week from now, gold's going to look horrible because, this right here, this last little jump that we've seen, a month ago, gold was at 33.25. Well, now it's at, 32 and a quarter. Well, that only makes it look like it's down essentially $110. But from the high, which was 3,500, we're down $285, which is a huge drop for sure. But is it really a huge drop? A lot of people don't understand how quick gold can move. There was days where we were seeing gold go up by $100 a day. To me, that was a given that we were not going to see it sustain that high. However, look at gold for the year. And, we've done really well. Look at gold. Look how much it's gone up. Now, this idea that, but now it's giving it all back. It's not giving it all back. It was 26.27 at the beginning of this year. That means in just 6 months, you've seen your investment go up $100 a month. That's a pretty good investment. And once you understand that you're in the right asset class if you're stacking gold or silver. I think silver is going to do a whole lot better at some point. It's just going to take a little time, obviously a little more time. There's still a lot going on. There's a lot of stuff getting kicked down the road, kick the can down the road because they can't really deal with too much at one time. And, there's going to be a lot of people that are just going to miss out. Excuse me. I'm tired. I seem like I'm getting tireder and tireder lately. I don't understand it. And I should be getting more energy because I've been eating extremely healthy. Don't get me wrong. Throughout the day, I have a lot of energy, but I'm also not drinking anything but water. So that no caffeine anymore, no coffee, no tea, no soda. Make me yawn a little bit more throughout the day. So yeah, I mean, the people that don't realize this are just going to be left missing out. Right now, I'm looking at this as an opportunity to pick up what I can when I can. I'm looking for deals. I expect when we start seeing the climb again on gold and the climb again on silver, that I want to be ready for it. And I want to be ready for it because I don't want to be buying when the price, if silver shoots up to 35, 36, 37, 38 bucks, do you want to be buying? Don't get me wrong. If I've got extra cash, then yeah, I'll buy. But as of right now, I'm looking for opportunities, to stack up a little extra now and then slow down. And, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be buying once we hit $35, $36. We hit $36, you can bet the majority of the people are going to be talking about. People are going to be excited. People are not excited right now. I can see it in my views. And that's understandable. It's discouraging right now. Even I get discouraged, but at the end of the day, everybody's going to want to buy when the prices go up. People want to chase. They don't want to get in front and ride the train. They want to chase the train. I don't want to be chasing. So I'm picking up what I can now. And when I say I get discouraged, yeah, I get discouraged. I'm just like you guys. I bought a coin. I seen a lot of comments. I bought a coin last week for me personally. I'll tell you, I bought some coins last week for $380 a piece. Today, I can pick them up for $340 a piece. And, the deals, you got to look a little bit, but they're out there. And once you realize that, you understand, hey, I want to be in the front. There's a lot of people right now that are discouraged and they're not buying. They're hearing this thing of, the economy's getting worse. You need to save your cash. Why? Why do I want to save cash? If I have a certain amount coming in or I have a regular income, me personally, I don't want to save cash. I want to spend it. And I want to buy the things now that I'm going to need later, whether that be extra canned goods, whether that be whatever the case may be, because I want to be prepared down the road when the jump does happen. With that being said, I'm going to wrap the video up here. I thank you all for watching and commenting. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. It was a nice timeline, actually. Sometimes I've been running a little short lately because it's hard to get good topics. But I think this is a great topic that will really benefit people. It gives you a lot to think about. If you're not stacking, I would, in my opinion, I'm going to stack. So with that being said, I thank everybody for watching. I hope you hit that thumbs up button for me, and be sure to check out some of these other great videos. We do post videos Monday through Friday, and we're going to keep posting for the time being. Thank you all for watching and commenting. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow on T Square Talk. Take care, everybody. Have a great one. Bye-bye.